The architecture in this alien city was strange. Undulating concrete all over the place, with some buildings underground and some set on top. Everything was painted in wild colours. It reminded me of a skate park. I was curious about the history behind it all, and whether the local heat seekers had worked with any other species on it. I hadn't seen the little lizardly folks build things like this before. Z didn't know. He also didn't care. More interested in getting our delivery done before the distant rain clouds arrived. He clicked across the concrete on his many bug legs, hissing at me to keep up and not drop the package. He probably would have liked to be the one carrying it, but I'd grabbed it first. My hands were more suited to carrying this size box than his mantis pinchers were anyway. I walked faster. Getting caught in the rain didn't sound like a good time to me either. Then we rounded a corner and topped a hill to where there was more ambient noise and... problem. It looked like the previous rain clouds had made for some unexpected flooding. A valley with high sides was filled with rushing muddy water. Heat seekers stood on either side with their own signs of commerce, debating how to get across. "Can't we just go to the bridge?" one asked, sounding like she knew the answer already. Her purple-blue scales clashed with the orange vest she wore. An older female in a similar vest shook her head. "Too far. The bosses want this fixed an hour ago." She rapped scaly green knuckles on the hover sled, holding tightly strapped down machine parts. "Traffic's going to pick up soon, and the rich and powerful will be complaining." A truly ancient male with patchy blue scales peered at the contents of the sled. "Are you kids here to fix the water lock?" The middle-aged female gave him a look that was part amusement, part exhaustion. "We are. Unfortunately, it's on the other side of the water." She waved toward the gushing current. Several other heat seekers stood on the other side, free in orange vests. One cupped hands to his snout and yelled, "Ride it across!" The younger female winced, shrinking back from the water far below. The older one sighed. The old male cackled with the glee of an elder who was about to watch someone else do something he wouldn't be expected to. "This should be good," he declared, stepping to the side and waving at a couple newcomers who were just arriving behind us. "Step back, everyone! The mechanics are going to do something dangerous." The green female sighed again and rubbed her face, scales clicking along with the sound of water. "Thanks." Puzzled, I looked from the sled to the water and back. The slope wasn't very steep. Were there predators in the water or something? Or was she worried about running out of momentum and getting stranded in the middle? That model of hover sled didn't have an engine. Oh, right, and heat seekers were cold-blooded. That could actually be a problem. But only if she didn't go fast enough, right? These big half-pipe slopes ought to work just fine for that. The younger heat seeker looked terrified. "Please don't make me," she whispered. "I don't want to either, but it's got to be done," the older one snapped. She looked over the gathering crowd. "I don't suppose there are any volunteers?" It really didn't look dangerous to me. Kind of fun, really. When I turned to look at Z, I found him staring at me with his antenna angled into a judgmental expression. He rotated his pinchers and plucked the box from my hands. "This one volunteers," he announced. "She'll even enjoy it." Now everybody was looking at me with more than a little hope in their eyes. "It really doesn't seem that scary," I admitted. The young one snorted. "Okay." The older one addressed Z. "Is your friend right in the head?" "Hey," I said. Z spread his mandibles in a creepy mesmer grin. "As right as her species ever gets. Humans evolved swinging through trees and they've never gotten over it." The elder cackled loudly at that. and the middle-aged one shook her head. "All right, do you know how to steer this model?" That part was aimed at me. I stepped over for a quick rundown of the controls. It was simple enough. This type even had built-in speed controls that required 2 hands to override. They couldn't just give it a kick and hope for the best. Someone really did need to ride it to make sure it coasted all the way across the water. Which did not have alien turbo crocodiles or whatever lurking under the surface. They promised. There was no more reason to delay after that. The 2 mechanics held the sled stable while I climbed on and found a position that was mostly comfortable, with my legs wedged onto the straps. I put both hands on the controls. Then they let go and gave it a push. "Woo!" I cheered, sledding down the hill. The hover mechanism was a good one, not even jolting at the transition between concrete and water. I skimmed across the surface with the smell of muddy alien river water in the air, then all too soon I was scooting up the opposite slope. I remembered to engage the brake before I slid back. The mechanics on this side rushed down to meet me. "Thank you." "My pleasure," I said, tugging my legs free of the straps. "That was a lot of fun." "Fun?" one asked in disbelief, pausing in the middle of removing one of the machine parts. "Sure," I said. "I haven't ridden a slope that good since I went sledding as a kid, and this time I didn't have to wait in line for a turn." The heat seeker looked quietly horrified. He didn't say anything, just going back to freeing the bit of machinery and hustling away with it. "We appreciate the help," said the one that seemed to be in charge, while others took the parts through a door that I hadn't noticed until now. "How convenient that you enjoyed it. We should be able to get the water diverted very quickly, now that we have replacement parts." He frowned at the door, as if he could see through it to where various clanks and swear words could be heard over the river. "Honestly, that whole section was supposed to be replaced last year. Anyways, we're very grateful." "Happy to help," I said. "Say, will you need to take the sled back that way when you're done with it? I could ride it back again." He picked up one of the last pieces and tucked a strap away. With a chuckle, he said, "I don't think anyone's going to stop you." "Excellent." The water level was already going down by the time I took off, but that didn't make it any less fun. Wahoo! I could see Z shaking his head from here.